This video, we're going to look at the potential NFL Hall of Famers for this year. December 3rd, we'll be going down to the finalist. So some of these guys might be on there, some of those guys might be out of there, but I might as well start getting into it and honestly predicting who I think has a great chance of getting in this year. It's definitely a Hall of Fame that is not as strict as you would say MLB is. So when looking at it, there's potential for a lot more than just two or three people. I can see them getting, you know, 6, 7 people in there, and that's a good thing. You have to keep marketing and continue to progress in terms of getting people in. So I'm excited to tell you the top 10 for me, in my opinion. There's definitely a lot of great talent throughout the years that, they are some first timers in here that definitely should be right off the bat a Hall of Famer. Some of these guys was tough to leave off the list just because they've been on the ballot for a while, but when you have players that it's just there, their numbers are there, their impact is there. You can't deny it and you can't ignore it. So overall, let's look at this list, and yeah, I would love to know anyone's thoughts on who you want to see in the Hall of Fame, who you think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Let me know in the comment section. But here we go. List, we're gonna have head coach Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame. This is his first year in the ballot or nomination of it. Honestly, this is a no-brainer. I think he's definitely in the Hall of Fame. 100% first time. He is arguably, or if not, the best coach to ever coach in professional sports and the NFL in general. Number one, tops. 3-time coach of the year. All of them with the Pats, but obviously he had some history. So 5 years he started in Cleveland. He went to the playoffs there. He took him there in '94. He actually beat New England, who would later give him that job. He lost to Pittsburgh in the conference title game. With the New England Patriots, 18 playoff trips, 17 division titles, 9 Super Bowl trips, 6 Super Bowls, 10 times in the AFC Championship game. Yeah, he coached 467 games, 302 and 165 record. That's a 64.7 win percentage. In the playoffs, 44 of them, 31 and 13. That's a 70.5 win percentage. And he won 53 out of his 131 challenges, which is just a neat stat. When looking at him, he was also a 2-time Super Bowl champion as the Giants defensive coordinator, where he learned from Bill Parcells and obviously became a defensive genius. When looking at it, in 1996, he was actually a New England assistant head coach with Bill Parcells and a DB's coach. They went to the Super Bowl that year, with where they eventually lost to Green Bay. Again, you got to note it. He was a part of that team. And then you're looking at the 1998 Jets, where he was also a defensive coordinator and an assistant head coach under Bill Parcells as well. They got to the playoffs. Again, he's had a lot of success even before New England. When looking at it, his coaching tree is not extensial. It's not amazing, right? But he's hired some good people, some people that have had their NFL experience and have been head coaches. Guys like Jim Schwartz, Matt Patricia, Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels, Eric Mangini, Joe Judge, Brian Flores, Brian Dable, Romeo Cornell, and honestly, arguably one of the best college football coaches, and Nick Saban. So, overall, all of that said, this man was not just a head coach, he was an executive. He definitely managed that New England dynasty. He's a huge portion of why they won so many games and why they were so dominant for so long. And again, even before that, he was great as a Jets coach, as a New England coach, as an assistant, went to the Super Bowl, as a Cleveland coach, and everything else right now. Obviously, he's coaching in college football, but for his NFL sake, of course, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and there's no argument with that. Next up, I do have Art Rooney Jr., the Pittsburgh Steelers uh, chairman, or excuse me, VP and general manager of the Steelers from 1971 to 1986. Obviously, he had his dad there where he won as well. But, without him, without his son, this would not be a thing. Obviously, they had great players. They brought in a lot of key guys that would make a dynasty in Pittsburgh. And we're looking at Art Rooney Jr., 11 out of his 16 years that he was there, they went to the playoffs. He went to 7 conference championship games, 4 Super Bowls won, 149 and 85 and 1 under the helm of him and he was 15-7 in the playoffs. It's it's not that much to really announce. I just feel like the impact that he has had, obviously for the dynasty of Pittsburgh and what the Steelers have been known as. Yeah, part of it is obviously the Rooney family, and you wouldn't have all these without Rooney and also his son. So overall, I think for the contribution of what he's been able to do for the game, specifically for the city of Pittsburgh, yeah, I believe he is definitely has enough for me to go into the Hall of Fame. And lastly, the last non-player for my potential Hall of Fame candidates or Hall of Fame, road to Hall of Fame would be Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft, a huge part of the New England dynasty, was there with Bill, was there with Tom. Yeah, he's still an owner, still a chairman, he's still a CEO of the team. He just had so many humongous wins and so much success for this team. So, yeah, he is a Hall of Famer. From 1994 to now, 22 out of his 35 years he's been there. He's been in the playoffs. He's been to 14 conference championship games. He's been to 10 Super Bowls, and he's won 6 of them. Under the management, I mean, 334 and 178 is pretty darn good. 33 and 16 in the playoffs, and right now, I mean, this is a team that's building again, and they could potentially be 10 or 11 and 2, and they have the ability of continuously winning for a long time. Robert Kraft definitely has made it so New England has that continuous success, even if it's for 3 years of mediocrity. He still gets them to a point where New England's still feared, and they're seeming to be feared again. Robert Kraft obviously deserves to be in the Hall. Player to mention is going to be QB Drew Brees. This is his first time eligible. Yes, I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think there's anyone that's not going to put him there. He's done enough, really. He's done enough. This is a guy that came from, the Chargers, had a terrible, terrible, and gruesome injury that everyone thought he's not going to be able to play. He's not going to be able to throw the ball. Well, he made a career out of it. After that, played for New Orleans, a total of 20 years between the both of them. 287 games played, 172 and 114 wins record wise. 80,358 passing yards, 571 touchdowns, 243 interceptions, 280 yards per game average, 98.7 rating average, 36 fourth quarter comebacks, 53 game winning drives. In the playoffs, 18 games that he played, he was 9 and 9, 5,266 yards, 37 touchdowns, 15 picks, 298.1 yards per game with a 97.1 rating, 2 fourth quarter comebacks, and 3 game winning drives. Yeah, Drew Brees was a 2004 Comeback Player of the Year. He was a 2006 Walter Payton Man of the Year. He won the Offensive Player of the Year award 2 times, 2008 and 2011. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, 10-time top 100 player, 13-time Pro Bowler, 1 time first team All Pro. It sucks to be in an era with Manning, Favre, Rodgers, and Brady. But second in passes completed all time, second in passing yards all time, second in passing touchdowns all time, seventh in pass rating, second in yards per game, third in completion percentage, third in game winning drives, sixth in comebacks, and fourth in games started with 286. He is top 5 all time in a lot of these categories. Yes, Drew Brees absolutely deserves to be in this. He's done a lot of great things for the city of New Orleans. He obviously won a Super Bowl. Um, it's a shame of not winning an MVP, but he's done enough statistically to get him to where he's going to be, and that's the Hall of Fame. Next up is one of the veteran players. I believe there's only one that really I feel like deserves to go, and that's Elsie Greenwood. I think it's about time that they really show the impact that he really has, paved the way for Steeler curtain defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers of that dynasty era. Elsie Greenwood, DN for 13 years, all in Pittsburgh, 170 games played, 4 forced fumbles recorded, 14 fumble recoveries recorded, 78 sacks and 1 safety, 18 games that he played in the playoffs, 12 and a half sacks, 11 tackles. He's a second team All 1970s team. He's a 6 time Pro Bowler, sixth in 1974 NFL Defensive Player of the Year voting. He was a 2 time first team All Pro, and unofficially 78 sacks there for him, which puts him in the around the top 100 wise. But he's a four-time Super Bowl champion. He's a huge deal for the Steel Curtain defense. Without him, I mean, that's just a key piece in that defensive front. So, yes, put this man in the Hall of Fame. I think he deserves that. He's done enough to be there. Up, it's going to be wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald. This is his first time up, and yes, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's done enough statistically, and just honestly, a great NFL player, great person. Yeah, he's one of those guys that everyone looks at and they see a lot of memorable playoff moments from Larry, and it's a shame he didn't win a Super Bowl. But this is a guy that absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. His first time. When looking at the numbers, 17 years, all with Arizona. 263 games played, 1,432 receptions, 17,492 yards, 121 receiving touchdowns, 13 fumbles total. 9 games played in the playoffs. He had 57 receptions for 942 yards and 10 touchdowns, 104.7 yards per game in those playoff games with one fumble. He was 2016 Man of the Year. He was 11-time Pro Bowler. He was a one-time First Team All Pro, which is insane. But you had guys like Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson. It was a decade of receivers. Second in receptions all time, second in receiving yards all time, sixth in receiving touchdowns all time, 15th in all-purpose yards all time, ninth in games started all time with 261, and a part of the All 2010s team. It's going to be first time eligibility for Frank Gore, the running back, man. Yes, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I think he extremely like he deserves this position of where he's at, man. 16 years in the league, grinded out San Fran, Indianapolis, Buffalo, New York, and Miami. He had 241 games played in that span, 3,735 carries for 16,000 rushing yards, 81 rushing touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry, 484 receptions, 3,985 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 46 fumbles. When looking at it, 4 games that he played in the playoffs, or should I say 9 games, 148 carries, 668 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry, 18 receptions for 167 yards, and one fumble. This is a man that was the 2006 Most Improved Player. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler. He was third all time in carries. He was third all time in rushing yards. The only person that's ahead of him is Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton. Just saying. 20th all time in rushing touchdowns, 93rd in yards per carry, 4th all time in scrimmage yards with 19,985, and an all 2010s team. If this guy does not go into the Hall of Fame, I think it's extremely disrespectful, and I think people are blind because 16,000 rushing yards is not easy. He was able to accomplish this feat. He was able to continuously have a long career, and third in rushing yards is no slouch. So, yes, Frank Gore absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Next up, we finally have an offensive lineman on this list. I think they should definitely have Steve Wisniewski as a Hall of Fame player. Absolutely. I mean, what he's been able to do for the Oakland Raiders for all of his time, 13 years of it. He was able to have 206 games played and started, 4 fumble recoveries actually. He only missed 2 games in the line, man. He played 9 games in the playoffs. He was a 1989 All Rookie team. He was an 8-time Pro Bowler. He was a 2-time First Team All Pro, 84th all time in games started, and he was also part of the Hall of Fame All 1990s team. It's sad because I don't have the resource to really show you the amount of sacks that he gave up or amount of pancake blocks that he had, but you know, consistency is a huge thing, and Wisniewski was definitely a guy that was tenacious and definitely played with a lot of emotion. And obviously, if the Raiders were right now, they would probably want to have this guy. So overall, Wisniewski as a guard, I think he deserves this. I think he's been waiting, and I think they should give that to him. And I think he should have a spot in the Hall. Next up is another first time that's eligible. It's Luke Kuechly. Yes, I think they should definitely put him in. They put in Pat Willis after 10 years. They're going to put Luke Kuechly in after 8 years because of what he was able to do, man. This is a guy that was always on the All Pro list every single year. This is a man that if he played all 16 years, I really truly believe he probably would have been the combined tackles leader all time. He probably would have been the solo tackles leader all time. He was that important to Carolina, that important to the game. He was one of the best linebackers of his era. And when looking at Luke Kuechly, he played 8 seasons, all with Carolina, had 118 games played, had 1,092 combined tackles, 75 tackles for loss, 31 QB hits, 1 safety, 12 and a half sacks, 18 interceptions, 1 for touchdown, 66 pass deflections, 7 forced fumbles, 9 fumble recoveries, 1 for touchdown. In the 7 playoff games, including Super Bowl 50, he had 61 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns there, 7 pass deflections, and a fumble recovery. This is a man that was a Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012. He was a 2012 All-Rookie team, 7 times that he was in the top 100, 2013 Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time First Team All-Pro, 2-time Second Team All-Pro, 66 in solo tackles with 690, and he was also 65th all-time in combined tackles with 1,092. Yeah, definitely when looking at it, I believe in Luke Kuechly, and the numbers speak for itself. The impact that he's had, I do believe that he is going to be in the Hall of Fame first time, and there's no question about it. Lastly, but not least, and definitely not the worst, it's outside linebacker Terrell Suggs. Yeah, I think he deserves to finally be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's done enough to make that a possibility. He's played 17 years, Baltimore, Arizona, Kansas City. This is a man that has been dominant for Baltimore with that Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, obviously made Paul Kruger better when they were going on to win that Super Bowl. Terrell Suggs was dominant at this era. There was a lot of key pass rushers, and when looking at it, he's made a career: 244 games played, 895 tackles, 1 safety, 202 tackles for loss, 200 QB hits, 7 interceptions, 2 of them for touchdowns, 63 pass deflections, 39 forced fumbles, 15 fumble recoveries, 1 for touchdown, 139 career sacks. 21 games played, he had 80 tackles for 12 tackles for loss, 22 QB hits, 1 interception, 4 pass deflections, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 12 and a half sacks in the playoffs. He was a 2003 Defensive Rookie of the Year, 2003 All-Rookie team. 5 times he was in the top 100. 2011 Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time Pro Bowler, a 1-time First Team All-Pro, also a 1-time Second Team All-Pro. Again, it was tough when you had to play with the J.J. Watts and the Aaron Donalds and whatnot. But he was 41st in games started with 226. He was 51st in playoff games. He was 12th in forced fumbles, 8th in sacks all time, and his tackles for loss are actually first all time. So when looking at it, yeah, I think Terrell Suggs absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Ravens fan. I'm saying this because everything speaks to that. Yeah, I think he's got the numbers to get there, and he should be able to get there this year.